TKO pushing for contract restructuring results in a major WWE tag team leaving the company. A fresh face steps up to Cody Rhodes, and the rivalry between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu reaches boiling point. All this and more in this episode of This Week in WWE, What Mattered. Just 1 week after the release of 23 other superstars, on May 2nd we learned that JC Mateo and Tonga Loa of the MFTs and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day have all left the WWE. I can't say I'm surprised about JC Mateo and Tonga Loa. I've never found the MFTs very interesting, and to be honest their never-ending feud with the Wyatt Six has been boring. Couple that with the fact that Tonga Loa has made many well-documented botches on live WWE television, I feel like the writing was really on the wall here. This is nothing against them personally, their booking of course plays a huge role in this. I've just never found the MFTs very engaging, very exciting. I've never really had a reason to care. I've never taken them seriously as a threat up against Roman Reigns' original bloodline, for example, when we were doing that storyline. So I've never really bought into them, and it doesn't help that they've only been feuding with the Wyatt Six, who I'm also not interested in at all, almost their entire run on SmackDown. So it should come as no surprise that I would be lying if I said that I was really that bothered about them being released. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, though, is a completely different prospect entirely. It's been reported that they mutually agreed their release from WWE after TKO asked them to restructure their contracts, and they declined in favour of leaving the company instead. They are surefire Hall of Famers, of course, being part of the New Day, one of the most successful, if not the most successful tag team in WWE history. In fact, I believe they hold the most tag team championship reigns in WWE history at 12, if I'm not mistaken. They were of course accompanied by Big E for many years until he was forced to retire due to a serious neck injury. Unfortunately, the booking of the New Day has been even worse than that of the MFTs. They were actually on the verge of breaking up until a fantastic angle when Kofi and Xavier turned heel on their longtime best friend, Big E. This was an amazing segment that got them mega heat and breathed fresh life into the New Day, but they just never followed up on it. As I say, the New Day had been starting to feel stale for quite a while now, and this heel turn really did breathe fresh air into a really old stable in WWE. And it even fueled speculation that Big E might be cleared and actually get involved with this storyline, but regardless of whether he was or wasn't ever going to actually be a physical participant in the feud, it was a really engaging angle that, as I said, got the major heat with the audience, but WWE just never capitalised on it. Alas, it just became an afterthought, and they've been booked pretty poorly ever since, despite in that time having another tag team championship reign as well. This news has of course come as a big shock to many people, with a lot of us thinking that Kofi and Xavier were going to be WWE lifers and retire in the company. Now of course we don't know if they're going to go on to wrestle somewhere else, but I presume they would, as they're fit and healthy. Of course it wouldn't surprise us at all if they end up in AEW, which would be a big signing for them. But because of this big news, in the last few days there have been further rumours about TKO asking other WWE talent to restructure their contracts. With World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns being pulled from advertising from Raw shows throughout June, it's fueled speculation that he has been asked to restructure his deal and he has declined, leading to people thinking that he may now drop the World Heavyweight Championship before June, which would mean the latest that he can drop it is presumably at the Clash in Italy Premium Live event. Rumours often run rife in the pro wrestling community, so we do need to take these rumours with a pinch of salt. Correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation, although I wouldn't be surprised if Roman had been approached about restructuring his deal just because of the behaviour that we've seen out of TKO in recent years. Say what you like about Vince McMahon, and in all likelihood he is a horrible human being, but at the end of the day, he would never have sold out to the advertisers or priced out genuine fans and families like TKO have. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please do subscribe to the channel or support me in any other way that you can. As well as this weekly series, I've got a lot more varied content that I'm posting and a lot more planned for the future. For example, I post replica belt review videos once a month. The first month I did the WWE Spinner Championship, and very recently I posted my second review, which is of the network logo WWE Championship. I've recently posted my full Backlash 2026 predictions video, so if you want to see who I think is going to win at Backlash and why, please head over and check out that video. And on May 12th, which is this upcoming Tuesday, I've got an unboxing video for you guys where I open up the John Cena Farewell Tour pin badge set. So if any of that sounds interesting to you guys, please do head over to my channel. Former NXT and NXT North American champion Ricky Saints confronted the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes in the opening segment of SmackDown this week. As a non-NXT viewer, this was my real first exposure to Ricky Saints, and I have to say I'm very impressed with his mic work, and he did not seem fazed whatsoever, which is very admirable considering this is his main roster debut and he was stepping up to the guy holding the championship in the industry. The two had a non-title match later in the night, with Ricky putting in a great performance, which was ultimately a loss, reminding everyone that Cody Rhodes is still the man to beat on SmackDown. But what happened after the match was just as surprising, as Gunther jumped Cody Rhodes from behind, locked him in the sleeper hold and left him lying in the middle of the ring. He then held the WWE Championship aloft, clearly making his intentions known. This is of course far too close to Backlash for the match to happen then, so I can only assume that Gunther is going to be challenging Cody for the undisputed WWE Championship at Clash in Italy on May 31st. This makes sense as it's a big European show, and Gunther is of course one of WWE's biggest European superstars, and from a selfish perspective I'd be really excited to see this match booked. I'm actually going to be there at Clash in Italy. I believe the last time that we saw these two clash was in the Men's Crown Jewel Championship match in 2024, which to my recollection was an absolutely fantastic match which saw Cody Rhodes win in the end by reversing the sleeper hold into a pinning combination. This was a pleasant surprise because I was expecting Gunther to be one of the opponents for Roman Reigns, but I actually think this makes more sense for Gunther. It freshens things up a bit as well. It's a fresh challenge for Cody. And of course, because of the trail of destruction that Gunther has left in his wake by retiring Goldberg, John Cena, AJ Styles, it really makes us take him as a serious threat at taking that championship away from Cody Rhodes. And like I said, from a selfish perspective, I just want to see this in Italy because it will be absolutely insane. A lot has happened in the past week as well across both Raw and SmackDown regarding the rivalry between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. The Usos confronted Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga, telling them to park their beef with Jacob Fatu until the tribal chief is done with him. Solo took exception to this, calling for Tala Tonga to take out the Usos, which he did. Solo then said that he doesn't give a damn what Roman Reigns says, he is not his tribal chief, and that Jacob is a dead man. There was a tag team match between these four men in the main event of SmackDown, but it ended in a disqualification as Jacob Fatu jumped Tala Tonga, hitting him with the steel steps and putting him through the announce table after he was jumped by Tala Tonga backstage earlier in the night. A few days later on Raw, Roman and Jacob made their World Heavyweight Championship match at Backlash official via a contract signing where Roman called out Jacob for using the Tongan death grip, a move that in their culture and in their family should only be used under desperate circumstances. It is not something that you pull out against your own blood. So Roman called this a pure act of disrespect. Jacob explained to Roman that he is desperate. His back is against the wall. It is him against the world, and he will do whatever it takes to win for his household. Roman pushed back by saying that whilst Jacob is concerned about 7 kids, he's concerned about 170 kids because he has the power to do that. Ultimately saying that in the family, they are equals, they are the same blood, but in this ring, Jacob is beneath him. Unsurprisingly, this caused Jacob to snap and he attacked Roman, causing a brawl to ensue. Jacob locked in the Tongan death grip multiple times, with Roman fighting out on a couple of occasions, but at the end of the day, it was Jacob Fatu who slammed Roman down on the table, and he stood tall, signing the contract as Monday Night Raw went off the air. I've really enjoyed the build to this match. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Roman versus Jacob at Backlash. If you're interested to see who I think is going to win that match, along with every other match at Backlash, please do head over to my channel where I've posted a video sharing my full predictions for Backlash 2026. Speaking of Backlash, the only other thing to note, as it's been announced that John Cena, my GOAT, the 17-time world champion, is going to be at Backlash to share what is being described as history-making news. Now, I'm really hoping this isn't hyperbole on WWE's part, and it's not just John announcing the details of Club WWE or something like that. I want this to be something big, exciting and tangible. And of course, me, the immediate thing that I go to is WrestleMania being announced for London. Now, Nick Khan did make some comments recently saying something along the lines of, wait until you see where WrestleMania is going to be in 2028. I know that Triple H and Nick Khan have been over to the UK and met with the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, in the past to discuss WrestleMania, so I do think it's only a matter of time until we do get the show of shows here in the United Kingdom. But this announcement might be some complete tosh. It might be something we're not that interested in. But they are marketing it as history making. It is John Cena announcing it. He has pushed heavily in the past for London and the UK to have a WrestleMania. So here is hoping that the UK is finally going to get WrestleMania. That'll do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do tune in next week. Check out some of my other content or do whatever you can to support me. But until next time, see you later.